You've tuned into the Millennials Anonymous podcast.
Yes, it is your girl Lise Winnie, and I am a fucking millennial. Today we got a lot of stuff to talk about
ready
today.
As your girl Lise gets you hyped and real
comfortable. They need to be comfortable.
WRDR and we're 98.4 FM.
I'm gonna have to throw this bitch in the river.
But you cannot deny that them niggas stay fly.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of Millennials Anonymous podcast. Yes, it is your girl Lise Winnie, and I am a fucking millennial. Yes, it is this time of year. We are getting into the season, the reason for the season, and it's the reason for the seasonings because it is the week of Thanksgiving, okay? It is the Super Bowl of all Super Bowls for people like me, heavy set, big bone people. It is our Super Bowl. This is for us, okay? This is for us. We have prepared for this day since Halloween, because Halloween is the prelude to Thanksgiving. If you didn't know, I'm schooling you, okay? For big people like me, I'm schooling you. It starts stretching your stomach. You know, the snacks and the candies and the goodies, it stretch your stomach. So, you know, your stomach, you know, you got to put a CK at the end. You don't know, bump that H. CK at the end, stomach. You know, it prepares your stomach. It stretch it for you to be able to eat all the goodies you about to get on Thanksgiving. Okay? Because I know you probably like, you know, you woke, right? And if you woke, you like, hey, Lise, hey. Like I'm woke. I can't be colonized. I can't colonize the colonizers. You know, they was lied to us our whole life. They told us these pilgrims, they was all nice and sweet, and we found out they was the killers. Okay. And I got you. So if you want me to not say Thanksgiving, I can say Indigenous Peoples Day. But because this is just traditionally what I'm used to, and you know, my mouth be flicked sometimes. Like I can't get all this indigenous. That's a lot of syllables. And so I'm just going to say Thanksgiving, okay? But I know the struggle. I appreciate it. I appreciate the struggle. I know a lot of y'all say y'all part of Cherokee. You know, you got a little bit of Cherokee in the driveway. I got you. No. And you know, talking about you a half a hole and Navajo ain't the same, okay? So, you know, I feel you, and I'm not. I feel the respect too, but I'm talking about the real indigenous peoples. We ain't talking about the fake indigenous. We talking about the real indigenous. I give all due respect to the real indigenous. I need y'all to know that you can celebrate indigenous people. You don't have to necessarily be a native in order to appreciate the indigenous people. So I need for especially black people, we always be like, got Indian in my family. They don't even call themselves Indian. They natives. Okay, because this their land. Like, I don't know if y'all know it. They wasn't Americans until we labeled them goddamn Americans. Okay, they was just natives. They was just living. Okay, they was just living. You know, staying in water, was over here minding their damn business, and then the white people came and they fucked it up, and then that's where we at today. Okay. So we can celebrate the indigenous people, and if you want to call it Thanksgiving, because your mouth be flicked like mine, and sometimes, you know, my mouth be flicked. That's a lot of syllables. Like I said, that's a lot. Okay, and for somebody like me to be flicked and be, you know, mispronouncing words and stuff sometimes, that's a lot. So I may call it Thanksgiving. It doesn't mean I don't feel your wokeness. Okay, I feel your wokeness. I got you, baby. I got you, but I'm going to say Thanksgiving because it's just easier for me to say. I'm just saying. All right. Okay. And we got a guest today. Okay. So for this Thanksgiving, you can give thanks because we have a guest today. We have Mr. Brandon Champ Robison. He is a filmmaker. He is a director. He's a producer. He's a writer. He's a content creator. Like he everything. If you could just put it all in like an encyclopedia of filmmaking, he is Scorsese-ING, and that is what we are going to be doing today. We are Scorsese-ING, okay? So we got the Scorsese thing going on. So we have him here today, and he is going to tell us about his brand new business, which is Redgrade TV. He is a black man who owns a streaming service. So if you want something to watch, and you're like, damn, I'm tired of watching these same 5 people. I'm tired of seeing the same 5 things going on. I need some difference. I need some variations. Make sure you listen to this because you're going to want to download Redgrade TV because they got some good shows coming through there. And if you're a creator and you're like, I want to get my stuff on a streaming platform, you might want to hint, wink, nudge. You might want to paying attention. I don't know, paying attention. I was paying attention. I know I was paying attention. I'm just saying. But let's get to these top 10. Okay, wait a minute. Before I go to this, wait. Before we go to these top 10, I do this shit every week. Before we go to these top 10 trending topics, we gotta talk. Okay. So I want to say thank you to everybody who, gave well wishes to my family. Because like I said last week, we lost my cat. So I want to appreciate everybody who did that. And then I also want to say that I know I said polyamory 15 times. Polyamory. I told you my mouth is flicked. Okay. So I say stuff real fast. And so it just kind of blurs the line. So last week when we were talking about that, I got you. I know. I said it when I listened to it back. I was like, shit, that's wrong, but I'm not gonna re-record it because I don't fucking feel like it. So this is where we're at. All right. So if you listen to it, just plug in the right word. Plug and play. Okay. Plug and play. Don't send me no more messages. I got it. I heard it. Okay. I know. I know that I'm flicking. But let's get to these top 10 trending topics because we got a lot going on. And I know y'all waiting for Thanksgiving to get here. So let's get it done. Let's do it.
Turn that shit up. Turn that shit up. Turn that shit up.
All right. Let's get into these top 10 trending topics of the week. Let me speed up because Thanksgiving is coming and I'm taking too fucking long. So here's the top 10 trending topics of the week. So the judges all across America are finally dismissing Donald Trump's lawsuits, the baseless, claimless, fraudless lawsuits that are all over America. He is spreading these baseless claims faster than he and his administration have spread COVID. It's amazing to see. Now, I'm happy to see that the legal system is working. Okay, I'm glad to see that the corruption that we have in the administration that we have so far, in the Trump cartel, campaign, is not seeping into our legal system. I'm happy to see that. Claps to all of the states that have thrown this out. Claps, big claps, round of applause. Throw it in a circle because shout out to y'all. We appreciate y'all for doing y'all job and throwing this out because there's supposed to be a transfer of power on Jay. For all of y'all that did not know and y'all wasn't at school that day. Okay, y'all wasn't in school that day. You like, okay, the election came, but Trump's still here. Like, that's not cool. That happened every year. All right. I know a lot of y'all didn't take civic school system. They don't got a lot of money. All right. They got a little change, they cut that part out. All right. He's supposed to be here till January 20th. That is where he's supposed to be. Okay. Supposed to be. But we don't know if there will be a transfer of power. We don't know on January 20th there's supposed to be a transfer of power, but we don't know what year. It might be 2025. It could be the year 2044. Like we don't really know. We might be going to we don't know. But we appreciate all of y'all for standing up. Especially shout out to Michigan. Michigan stand up. I know we don't always appreciate y'all, especially when it comes to y'all sports. Y'all haven't had a winning team, especially in a minute. We appreciate y'all, and I want y'all to know we appreciate y'all. Okay. I want y'all to know that we appreciate y'all because y'all really is on y'all game. Y'all doing the damn thing. Shout out to Detroit. We love you. Okay. Detroit, the D stood all the way up. All right. Y'all exercised y'all constitutional right and you stood up because without y'all, we would be attending the coronation of Donald Trump II. And so we appreciate you. Okay. We appreciate y'all for doing it. Now, what I do want to say is not the people. The people who voted, we fucks with y'all. But some of y'all canvassers over there, y'all election canvassers, y'all got us fucked up. Like y'all trying to change it. Y'all trying to change your mind after you talk to Trump. Trump gonna call you on the phone and now you don't know if you want to certify Michigan's results. The people have spoken. Y'all, no, we not doing this, okay? We not doing this. We need for y'all to do y'all goddamn jobs. If the judges said that there's no... Listen, these are the same lawyers that's going to court saying that it is unconstitutional or some bullshit for y'all to get evidence. What the fuck? What is a case for? Like, if you can't come to court with evidence, you need to go the fuck back home. You gotta have some evidence, okay? Y'all on the defensive end. The burden of proof is on y'all. Just so y'all know, because apparently you didn't. And Trump's team is just terrible. Like, his legal team, it looks like it's falling apart, literally. We saw Rudy Giuliani. He was melting blackface, okay? And a lot of y'all was like, no, his hair dyed. No, that was blackface. Because, you know, when you have the racism, the blackface be in your pores, and it starts to seep down. Like, he stood there at least 5 minutes longer, he would have been in full blackface, okay? I'm just telling you, I'm just dropping some game on you, some knowledge. And they have distanced themselves away from one of their attorneys because they're like, hey, this is she really tripping. Sidney Powell, who is a Trump campaign attorney, actually got the boot. They're trying to kick her out because when you can't explain your fuckery to Tucker Carlson, he's not on MSNBC. He not on CNN. He not on BET. He not on Woke News. He on Fox. Okay? Tuck has been so nice to the Trump administration. And if you can't give your claims of fraud to Tucker, she ghosted him. She left him on red trying to get this evidence for y'all. Listen. Okay. I'm not talking to all Trump voters, okay? Talking to most of y'all, all right? Most of the 70 million of y'all that fucking voted for Donald Trump, okay? The people, I guess I'm talking to Trump supporters. The supporters that support these claims that the election is false. I need to talk to y'all. I get it. You know, it feel like family. It brings y'all back to a time where America was so white. You know, I get it. And I know the red hats are much more breathable. You know, they're much more breathable than the hoods. I get it. You know, you got the whole face out. It feels good. But what I need for y'all to know is, when do you say, okay, this some bullshit? Like, when do you call bullshit? Like, at what point? Because listen, I talked about this the other week. If a woman come to you with a baby, right, and she give you the results, the paternity results, and say that this is inconclusive, do you still say that that's your kid? Do you? Or if it comes back to this 99.99, like Maury say, you the pappy, do you say that it's not your kid? Like, are we picking and choosing reality at this point? Like, it is literally the equivalent if you go take your driver's test and you fail and you say, well, I really didn't fail. It was the irregularities that are going on around me. Do you not see? We in the DMV. It's a bunch of foolery going on in here. Like, that makes no sense. Like, when are we going to have this conversation? We need to have this conversation. I'm just saying, at some point, we got to have the conversation that maybe it's time.
What's the matter with you?
Maybe it's time for y'all to admit, like, that maybe a lot of this shit y'all was doing was crazy as hell. Like, I think it's time. All right, it's time. Slowly but surely, I think y'all need to start realizing when they can't give the evidence to y'all, like, that's when you got it fucked up. When they can't give it to y'all, like, maybe not us, maybe not the liberal news, but us, maybe no, but y'all, maybe yes. And we'll find out what happens. So on December the 14th, if you weren't aware, that is when they actually will certify the electoral, or they'll have the vote. Electors will vote in their states on December the 14th. So we will see what happen. I'm pretty sure that Joe Biden should be, but like I said, anything is possible. We've learned. So speaking of getting thrown out of Bel-Air, the Fresh Prince of the Bel-Air had a reunion, a 30-year, jeez, McCree, 30 years. It's a 30-year reunion aired, and the original OG Aunt Viv was there, and Will Smith and OG Aunt Viv, Janet Hubert, actually smoothed out their differences. So I'm happy to see this. When I tell you I cried so much, like, my family was looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I cried and cried and cried. I cried some more, and I cried, and I was like, ooh, like, I don't even know why. Like, I cried at least 15 times on that reunion. It was like they just came out and they showed the Fresh Prince. They played the song slow. Like they played, just hearing the Fresh Prince song slow, it was just brought tears to my eyes. Like, oh, they playing it slow. Like, you hearing it slow. Like, it just, I was crying the whole time. You know, when they play it slow, it's a song back to you slow. Like, oh, like, what, really, Will? This what we doing? This what we doing? Okay. You trying to make us cry? Okay. But it was so amazing to see them all back. They all look really good. Everybody looked great. Now, what really got me is when OG walked in. Like, of course, no, when Uncle Phil, well, no, when they showed the clips of James Avery and, you know, playing Uncle Phil, that's what got, because the millennials, millennials, he was a staple in a lot of us millennials' homes. He was the dad that a lot of us did not have. He was the father figure. Because back in the 90s, okay, the 80s and the 90s, daddies was fucked up. Like, let's just say it, daddies was fucked up. A lot of y'all new kids, you know, Gen Z, Zoomers, y'all got y'all daddy in the house. Back then, you know, crack epidemic, you know, 3-strike rules, the internet was just popping off. Daddies, they was fucked up. Like, they didn't stay in the house. All right, a lot of us didn't have our daddy there. Daddies was gone. They was like, you know, we gonna skip out this sign for us. So daddies was Rolling Stone back then. So he was a staple for us. He was the staple that a lot of us didn't have, because Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show, Cosby was a staple. I mean, not the rapey part, but Cosby was a staple, right, for us. But I feel like the Fresh Prince was more edgy, so it was more appealing to some of the people that were a little bit more urban. You know what I mean? A little urban. So it was a little different. So it was like, oh, this is for us. And I feel like that's what Uncle Phil did. That's what he represented. And so that's why I think it was so emotional for me to see, like, damn, like, because I think he passed away in 2012. So it's been a minute too since we actually had Uncle Phil. So I'm so happy that we were able to see it. I really am happy that we were able to see this. Now, I shout out to light-skinned Aunt Viv. Shout out to light-skinned Aunt Viv. No shade, no knock, no nothing. But the original Aunt Viv ain't shit you got on. You can't nobody fucks with the original Aunt Viv. Like, the show to me wasn't even the same after Aunt Viv left. It didn't have the same. It was something missing. And I feel like that's what it was. It was something missing. Because they even brought back the little boy. I was like, damn. Like, okay, he done came back too. So everybody came back. And that was so amazing to see. Now, shout out to the Red Table. Shout out to Jada. Because he did a takeover. Red Table takeover. Shout out to Jada. Baltimore stand up. Okay? Because she a Baltimore girl. Baltimore stand all the way up. Now, but listen, Will. I'm trying to figure out what was the point. Like, I get it. You know, we had already seen this on the reunion, and I was like, I get it. But at the same time, I was like, why you need a separate show to do the therapy on air for the separate show? Like, I'm like, I don't understand this part. Like, this was, it almost felt, and this is just me, I can be on an island by myself, I always am. It almost felt like he was trying to make himself look better. Like, you know, this, because a lot of people was giving him the side eye. And it felt like, okay, we gotta do some like, it felt like August Alsina did again. Like, I felt like, oh, damage control. Like, that's what I was like, ooh, did it pop out again? Like, this is what I felt it again. Like, it was happening again. Like, I don't know why that was necessary. It was beautiful to see you be very, very emotional and open, but I felt like you had to give the backstory of the backstory of the backstory so that people wasn't looking at you with the side eye. That's what I'm saying. And Alfonso, he was going after him, Carlton, because he wasn't there when OG Aunt Viv came. Now, he knocked that down. He said, hey, I had to work. He was filming America's Not So Funny video. America's Funniest Videos. Sorry. And he was filming that, and so that's why he had to leave. So there was no shade. Even, you know, Janet Herbert, she shut down people who were saying that he wasn't there and they weren't going to forget that he wasn't there. She said, don't assume, don't make assumptions. He had to work. We've let it go, and you should too. And so I'm glad that they did do that. Now, one of the things that I read, and this makes me nervous, is that there may be a reboot of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air coming. okay? And Will Smith is working with a gentleman who did like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot like thing on YouTube. Listen, William, listen. Please don't do that. We seen them try to do 90210. That didn't work. We see they tried to recreate Dallas. That didn't work. We've seen all of these reboots go very wrong. Leave it alone. Like, we don't need to see, like, make us something new. Like, make you got kids. You got kids in real life. Make you have your kids. Like, make the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air the sequel. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need a reboot. Don't reboot it. Don't leave it alone. Leave it be. Like, y'all can't recreate that. It's dead. It's done. It's deaded. It's in the grave. We just want to look back at it. We just want to go back and rewatch it because that's all we need. Don't do that. Like, create something new with the gentleman. Don't reboot this. We don't need a reboot. You know how I feel about reboots. I hate them. And Meg Thee Stallion releases good news where she shows off her body, yaddy yaddy, and she takes shots at Tory Lanez. So, shout out to her. I listened to it. Shout outs to her. I think that the video again, I think she has another hit with Body, because I think that this is going to be on TikTok. It will be played in rotation. We are going to hear this shit till we can't. It's going to happen. It's already started. People are doing the dance already. Like, she's going to get another hit and another one. But at some point, I don't know if we're going to get, like, it should be interesting because I think she's very young. I don't know how old she is, but I think she's in her early 20s. It should be interesting to see what 28-year-old Meg Thee Stallion does versus what early 20s something Meg Thee Stallion does. And to see if there would be a shift in, like, the dynamic of some of the music that we get from her. So I'm interested to see what happens with that. I don't know yet, but I'm still a fan. Still very much a fan. Speaking of which, Meg, I don't know if you can maybe reach out to Cardi people because I still ain't got my vinyl yet. I'm waiting. It ain't came. I ordered, I think it was back in August or July or something. Like, just let them know. I'm waiting on that WAP vinyl because I would love to put it on my wall. And also, she did really well. Fashion Nova. She had a Fashion Nova collection. It made $1.2 million in revenue in 24 hours. Now, I will say that if you've not seen this Fashion Nova collection, it looks like the 2000s. So it looks like the 2000s. The patchwork of the 2000s, the bell-bottom recreations from the 2000s. Like, it is literally the 2000s. So anything from 2000 up until 2007, that is what this collection is. And sidebar to a sidebar. The clothes back in the 2000s was the worst. Like, I know that we used to make fun of the people in the 70s and 80s, and no. I lived through the early 2000s. I was old enough. I was breathing and my neck worked. Like, I had strength in my neck muscles. So it was the worst. Why would you recreate that? I don't know, but I feel like we going back there again. Like, I'm seeing the flip outs with the hair and it's like I'm getting nervous. I am getting nervous. If we see them t-shirt dresses that men used to wear, what kids? Listen, most of y'all parents probably millennials. I'm sure if your father lives somewhere in the DMV area, he has a picture with a full Alvin the Chipmunk type t-shirt. Where it's just floor length gown tee, white tee. Just ask, and I bet you will find. You will seek. If you ask, you will find. Please, kids, leave it alone. Let it go. It was a time. It was an era. We didn't know if we was gonna be here. We thought after 1999, it was time's up. Oops, out of time. That's what Prince had told us for years. So we thought that was true, and so we didn't know how to dress for many years. Please leave it be. Leave it dead in the grave. Just hang it up. I don't know. Let it go. I don't want to see the low-rise pants with the thong. Let it die. Just let it die. So Jeezy turned out to be a true soul survivor. Like, he was the sole survivor of the verses. And he ended up ending it exactly the way that most people thought it would end. He unleashed a full clip of music on Gucci Mane. Now, I don't know if we knew how epic this would be. The shots that were thrown, I don't know. Swiss Beats and Tim said it was all a rouge. We don't know if it was a rouge or not, because of some other things that have happened after that versus that may or may not signal and it's been a ruse. But regardless of the case, it was epic. They was on Black People time. They started about an hour late. Okay, The camera was on true stadium concert vibes. We was at least 30 feet away. With the camera was at least 30 feet away. Okay, we could barely see them. They look like ants, but that's fine. Okay, but we were there for the epicness. They were throwing shots at each other. They played some of the diss records and diss albums. Like, I kept hearing the shots. I was like, "Woo, that was a shot." Okay, that was a shot fired. Okay, that was a shot. And he's like, okay. Yeah. The shots that were being thrown. But the one that everybody is talking about is when Jeezy brought up wealth. And so then everybody turned into real estate researchers and started looking up his actual deals, and they found out that he doesn't own half of Atlanta. But that's fine. He still does have real estate deals. And regardless of that, he was dropping knowledge to people that wealth is different from having an expense. Real estate, you build equity. That's an investment. You can take that to the bank. That is an investment. A $10,000 outfit is an expense. If you have if you are looking at your balance sheet, you have more minuses. Okay, you got more minuses than you have income. We're gonna have a problem. You cannot create wealth. And my favorite comedian, Chris Rock said this best. Now, if you've not watched this comedy special, Never Scared, and this is why Chris Rock is one of my favorite comedians of all time, because not only is he funny, like the stuff that he says, it's funny. Like, you don't have to sit back and think about it for a minute like some of the other comedians. Like, it truly is, you don't know you taking the medicine because of the way that he's feeding it to you, but everything that he says has meaning to it. So go back and watch Never Scared. He was been talking about this. That was 25 years ago or something, where he was talking about Rick James was rich. Like, you can lose rich in a drug habit. Like, this is just what these are facts. This is true. This is what is happening. You gotta know that, okay? And this is why it is so important, I think, for us to educate our children and to educate ourselves, because wealth takes a while. If you notice one thing about all the richest men in the world: 1, they're all men. 2, they're all white. 3, they all own something. So they all own their own business. If you're not sure, you have Elon Musk, he owns Tesla. You have Jeff Bezos, it's Amazon. You have Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. Like, they all own something and they invest. Okay, so it's not just one or the other. Like, it's a whole accumulation of things. Yeah, it's accumulation of things, and this is why we need to relook at capitalism. But that's another question for another day. But at this point, we do need to learn more about wealth and the difference between it, because I think a lot of people, it went over their heads, and then a lot of people just start saying, "Oh yeah, we need to get real estate in a business." No, pump your brakes. You need to do research first. Research, then real estate. Like that's where we at, because you can make bad real estate investments, which, if you go back and look at it, they might have made a couple of bad choices in there. So you got to do research, then real estate, then you start to accumulate wealth. But we can't do that if we don't work together, and I don't see most people in the culture, unfortunately, working together. And speaking of the culture, Lobuci said, "I ain't lose my leg. Nope, my leg is still intact. I got all 10 toes." Yes, he got shot. He got shot when he was in Dallas. He was at a vigil for M3, and he got shot. Now, a lot of people were thinking he may have gotten his leg amputated because he has diabetes, but they said that he did not. The only thing that his diabetes actually impacted was his diet, according to Hip Hop DX. So I don't know why that came out. I don't know where they got that from, that he lost his leg, but he said that he's fine, and he probably will be. He's out of the hospital, so he'll be back touring probably sooner than you know it. So shout out to him. Hopefully he gets better soon. And Shad Moss, or Lil Bow Wow, and that's how I first got introduced to him, as Lil Bow Wow, is back at it again. He's telling the OGs to pipe down. It was a post that actually was reposted by DJ Academics about what Bow Wow said, and what he said wasn't 100% false. He said that the new music, a lot of the older rappers or older generation knocks the new music, and the new music is not for the older generation. It is for the younger people to shine and make it their own. I agree with that. However, I think that what a lot of the OGs are trying to showcase is how longevity works. Because right now, what I've noticed is that there's not longevity anymore. It could just be the way the music industry is set up. It could just be the way that people's attention spans is wired. I don't know. But there's no longevity. Within 4 or 5 years, most of the rappers that were popping are no longer around anymore. And I think a lot of the OGs have music that you can listen to. It's timeless. But when you get into that very niche music, like we had niche music too. But a lot of the times we don't listen to that music. And I think that's what the OGs are trying to say. Like, if you're going to have music that lasts, you need to put a little bit more time and effort into the craft so that it does have some longevity. I think that's all they're saying. But I think he has a point. And the AMAs were hosted by Taraji P. Henson, who was also in the body video for Meg Thee Stallion. She looks absolutely amazing. And I think she's 50, if I'm not mistaken. She looks better than most people. And it aired Sunday. Didn't watch it, but Taraji's awesome, so I'm sure it was dope. And she's DMV. Shout out to her. DC stand up. And as the pandemic rages on, more and more people are flying, despite what the CDC said. They said, do not travel for Thanksgiving. Do not go get them beans, greens, tomatoes, and yams from grandma's house. And people was like, nope. We getting on this plane. We gonna get all this COVID in the air. Listen, why do you... This is why we fucked up. Because we, as Americans, we don't listen to shit. We just do whatever we do, okay? And then we wonder why the shit is fucked up. Why is it that they keep closing down the bar? Why do they keep going back and closing it? Why? You want to know why? It's because you can't keep your ass in the house. You at the strip club. You at the real club, you at the bar, you going to the grandma house, you are going over the river and through the woods. You everywhere. Okay, and I done told you, coronavirus is everywhere as well. She under your bed, she in your closet, she is in your car, she everywhere. And y'all want to keep taking her with you. Okay, you want to keep taking her with you like that old ass condom that's been in your wallet that will deteriorate as soon as you take it out. Why? Let it sit your asses down. If you don't get on Zoom for Thanksgiving, your grandma want to be here for Christmas. Stop it. And listen, grandparents, it is okay to deny your goddamn grandchildren. Say, nope, y'all can't come the fuck in here. Okay? Nope. Nope. That is okay. We appreciate you, okay, grandparents. Shut them down. Shut them out. Shut them down. Just clank it. Tell them they can't come in here. I appreciate y'all for doing that. And if you are home and you actually listen to the CDC, but y'all can't cook, because a lot of us millennials, we can't cook. Okay? So that's probably why y'all risking it all. Because you're like, shit, I miss home economics. I ain't go to that class. Okay? I don't know how to make eggs and boil water. I got you. So there actually are a couple of companies that you can actually buy Thanksgiving dinner from. They got Cracker Barrel. Popeyes actually has turkeys that you can buy and whole meals. And Denny's has a meal. Okay, listen. Maybe not Denny's. Okay, maybe not Denny's. All right, but some of these other places, I ordered a Popeyes turkey last year. It was delicious. Now they sold out. I don't know if your area, if they got it, but in my area they sold out. They don't have any more. You can buy a pre-made turkey. Okay, like I said, maybe not Denny's, maybe not them, because I could sidebar to a sidebar. Is it me or everything at Denny's? It seems it just tastes milky. You might be eating steak, but it's did y'all put milk in it? It tastes milky. There's this very milk of magnesia, powdery milkness that I don't know. It just, everything tastes like that. I don't care what it is. The bacon tastes milky. The sausages, everything is milky. Eggs is milk. I'm like, the eggs is not supposed to be this milky. Like it just, I just maybe not them. But you can still order without making your grandparents or your mother or anybody else they got a underlying medical condition sick. You can stay home. All right, just stay your asses in the house. And this has been the top 10 trending topics of the week. So let's get into this interview. Let's get into the Scorsese-ING today. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited because we have someone who is amazing, incomparable, dynamic. They're a creator, a filmmaker, an artist, a producer, a CEO, boss. So that is Brandon ... Champ Robison. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I wish I could just like have you introduce me to everybody I meet. Because you just make me sound awesome.
I can do that. I'm a hype person. I hype people up.
I need that.
Like Spliff from, Busta Rhymes has Spliff.
Oh yeah,
I can do that. That's me. That's what I do. But I want you to explain, like, give an introduction. So if you've never like heard of you or seen your work, who is Brandon? Like all the niceties. Who are you? Where are you from? So we can get to know you.
Yeah. So Brandon, Brandon is the husband, the father, the child of God, and then Champ is the business guy.
Okay.
So everybody calls me Champ, but basically I'm born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Currently living in California right now, chasing the dream, directing and shooting and doing all of that good stuff. I've been out there for about 6 years running my company, Imagination Upgraded. So just recently I released a streaming service called Redgrade.TV, and it's dedicated to, obviously, first and foremost, people of color. And then secondly, it's for creators, by creators. So I'm really supporting all creators at, this level and trying to help them go up to the next level. And a lot of times, you see people, that close the door on you, or if you have a good idea, they want to take it from you. I don't want to be that kind of company. I want to be a company that partners with creatives. We create something awesome. You keep your ownership, and we all benefit from what we've created.
Okay, so you let people keep their intellectual property. I can respect that.
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
You're a filmmaker. Your filmography is long. It looks like it started in 2015, even though you may have been doing films long before them. But if IMDb is correct, it started at 2015. You were an actor. Were you an actor first before you said, you know what, I really want to get into this film thing? I really want to do the filmmaking side. Were you an actor first?
Yeah, so I have a bit of a crazy journey. So probably like most young people from the hood, I started off as a rapper. So there it is right there. So I was producing, so I made a lot of beats. I owned the studio, recorded a lot of people. Obviously with that I was making my own raps and albums and stuff like that. Then I had always had a love for the camera, whether it be in front or behind, but the behind bug just kind of like bit me heavy. So I definitely started to get into making a lot of music videos, and my music videos morphed into having these storylines. I didn't want to just shoot a regular music video anymore. So I started writing storylines into the music video, and then from there, that turned into me making short films and starting to push that in 2015 from what you saw when I started to get into the short films and start putting things out and understanding IMDb and how I need to have like these credits on there and doing all that kind of stuff.
You mentioned that you are a rapper first, and then you really started doing music videos, which I've seen on your YouTube that you've done not only music, I guess, videos for yourself, but for other people. But how does one really do that? Like, let's get down in the nitty gritty. So let's say, for instance, somebody just out of the blue says, I want to create a film. I'm going to assume you're going to need rich friends or some rich person to bankroll a film.
Yeah.
How does one start to do that? Like, y'all got a whole team. Like, it's a fleet of motherfuckers. Y'all got a fleet, like, of people. Like, so give us Filmmaking 101, the free version. I can't afford to pay for it. Give us the free version. How does one get started?
The way Hollywood would lead you to believe is that you can only make films one way, and that's with millions of dollars and tons of crew, big ass lights, and all this shit. You know what I mean? And really, when you break it down to its essence, what's a film? It's a story, right? It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And can you tell a good story? Okay, that's number one. Now you've written your story, and it sounds good. You know, everything's good. You like it. Let's go. Number two, they think you got to have like these, you know, the newest Arri Alexa or the Reds cameras and all this kind of stuff. No, you have literally the power like in your pocket. Like these iPhones 12s are dope. Every iPhone and every Android right now has a pretty dope camera. So you can start there. Next thing that people forget and they miss, this is the biggest thing, is audio quality. Because you can have things that look great, but your audio will take people out of it immediately. You know what I mean? So a lot of times when I talk to young filmmakers, they send me things. I tell them like, yo, I don't want to be like this, but the audio is trash. I can't watch it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that blunt. That blunt is not trying to be mean, but I'm like, the audio is not good, and I want them to understand that is how the end user is gonna see it. Like they're gonna hear it, like this is messing with me. Like I can't take it. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear a song that's not mixed properly, you're gonna turn it off because it's gonna hurt your ears. It's gonna irritate you. No matter how good the person looks, or how much you love that person, it'll irritate you to the point where I can't listen to it anymore. Right? That's true. You have those things, and then the next thing that you want to do is learn lighting. So a lot of times I tell people, I'm not a big advocate on film school and going to film school. I don't think you necessarily need to spend that much money on this. If you have that money to spend, I would spend it a different way and maybe try to get with some mentors to teach you some things. Okay. You know
did you not go that route, or did you go that route and then realize I really need to go this route?
Yeah, so I didn't go to a traditional film school. I went to this media institute called Massive Media Institute, where I got some things out of it. I'm not gonna knock it or anything. I did get some things out of it, but I didn't get what I thought I would, and I realized that I won't get that until I start doing it myself and start doing the research myself. You know what I mean? So I'm a big advocate of YouTube University, right? So I could jump on YouTube and pretty much find out how these people did almost anything. You know what I mean? But at that same time, I can go and buy a course for $1,000 and take someone's full masterclass on, you know what I mean, this course. And now I have that knowledge and I can keep building off of it. So that's why I'm like, $70,000, $1,000. You know what I mean?
Okay. Like, that makes sense.
Where can I spend this money? Right. And then at that point, if you have that money, now you can say, all right, I'm going to go and get me a little DSLR camera, and I'm going to get me some sound gear, and I'm going to start to shoot and buy me a small light kit, and I'm going to start to film. I'm going to start to film family. I'm going to start to film friends. I'm going to start writing. You know what I mean? And
but you do need money in the game, because it sounds like you don't need a lot of money, but you do need to invest in your craft. Yeah, is what you're saying.
You definitely have to invest in self. Like it's not going to be free. It's not going to be hella easy, but you will. If this is what you want to do and love, then it shouldn't matter to you, and you should want to invest in yourself.
I'm gonna ask you a personal question. You can refuse it if you want. I will not. I'm not a stalker. Okay, I just want you to know that. But I do when I interview somebody, I like to know who I'm interviewing.
Yeah, you got
so. I see that you made a post, and you it was an apology really to your family, like your wife, your children, your friends. You know, as a creator, how hard is this? Because I would assume that you don't make a lot of money doing this in the beginning. And it's got to be very, very hard. How important is it to have that support system in a spouse or a family that'll say, you know what, do you? Because I know you said somebody, I think it was your grandmother or somebody, gave you a space in their house. How important is that to really have them on board with you?
That was huge. That apology, like it took me a minute to write, and it took me just sitting back and realizing all the things that I've done and that I've been allowed to do, from, my beautiful wife, kids, my, mom, grandma, all these people that allowed me to just maybe not be the best version of myself while I was trying to build something. Okay. You know what I mean? And then just realizing that, and I'm not saying like I was a dick or anything to anybody, but I could have done things differently, but because I was chasing certain goals, I was different. So I think it is important. So like you said, my grandmother gave me a space. Like, we didn't have a lot of money, but I always had the support. So my grandmother gave me a space in her house. If anybody who knows my grandma knows that she loves her basements. We from Wisconsin. Okay. And like they're from Milwaukee, and like basements, if you have a decked out basement, you like the shit, right? So my grandma loves having her basements decked out and put together so she can entertain and do all that kind of stuff. So she gave me a space in her basement. Basically, you have this space to do what you want. So she sacrificed her entertainment space that she loves and built up to give me that space to be able to have a recording studio and produce and do music and all, and do video and all that kind of stuff. And that, just that support was great. And then being with my wife, I've been with my wife since high school. I graduated high school in 2000.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, I met her in 2001, and we've been together ever since. 3 kids now and living in California. But with her, there's things that, come along with you doing music video. Like, there's always women around, and you know what I'm saying? Like, all that kind of stuff. And it takes a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
And you have a strong, it appears you have a very strong wife. That she ain't going for
she don't play that, she walk around with her gun. She's an officer, she got a badge, she do not play. She don't play. But, to be able to, have her in those kind of positions, and, you never want to make your wife feel like they're out here looking stupid, you know what I'm saying? So to have her in those kind of positions, and, late nights, I don't come to bed often, you know what I'm saying? Like, she just wants to be with you, just in the bed, chilling, watch a movie, missing movie nights, missing a lot of just different things with the kids and stuff. I'm trying to chase this and build. I just felt like I needed to give that apology and let them know that I really appreciate it. And because you allowed me to have that time, now I can do this, and you can get this and reap these benefits. You know what I'm saying? I get to do, and I did a job with D.L. Hughley, and he said it like best. He said it best. I was directing, and he said it best. He's like, I get to do what I love, and because I get to do what I love, you get to live comfortable. And that's what makes me happy. I get to do what I love, and you get to live comfortably.
That's amazing. Like, I mean, I can appreciate that. I definitely can appreciate that. And I can appreciate a person that gives props to people around them. Because I know a lot of times us, like, creative people, we don't always give that due to the people that are giving us that leeway to be able to live out our dreams. And when do, like, you as a creator or a person, like, let's say you've been doing this for a while, you a rapper or whatever, when do you say, hey, this is not working? Or should you continue to follow your dream anyway? When is it time to say, you know what, I need to switch gears?
I've tried to switch gears, and the thing is, it hurts. It doesn't feel good.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like when it's in you, I think instead of quitting, you may need to refocus. Maybe there's something. So I think my biggest thing was I wanted to be in entertainment or be an entertainer.
Okay.
Rap wasn't working, but film was. So maybe at that point I just needed to like refocus my aim just a little bit. You know what I mean? Like aim a little bit to the left, and now I hit it. Now I see where I am. You know what I mean? I can't really say when it's time to quit because I haven't quit. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't.
You can't tell us.
I can't tell you guys to quit, and I'm still going. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think there's a lane for you, and maybe it isn't the exact one you thought it is, but you could be a rapper and it's not working out, but maybe you have an ear for someone else, and now you turn into a manager or A&R, and now that lane has taken you, you know, in another direction.
And when I tell you, it took me forever to figure out what A&R meant, but I figured it out, you know. I figured it out. But I want to ask you, so you are not just a filmmaker, because we're talking about films, and we're going to get to your streaming service in a minute, but you're also a content creator. You have a YouTube. Your YouTube has been wildly successful. Now, I shed a tear for you, just a little bit, when I was watching a video and you hit over 1 million views, and you didn't monetize it. So I want you to give us the story, a little bit of the background of the story about why didn't you monetize that? And then how do you do that? How do you create a success? I think it was your Croft video where you are getting those million views.
So here's the thing. We'll talk about YouTube and that space in general. So when I started to make films and I wanted to get people to see me, I wanted to put myself in a place where, okay, what can I do that it's familiar enough to people, but it's still my story? So I would take characters that I loved and make fan films, because you see, a superhero or Harley Quinn or whatever, and you're like, oh, I know that character. This is a story. Let me see what it's about. And then you start to watch it and you understand that it's a different take on like the whole thing. You know what I mean? And now you're hearing my voice just coming out of that character. So I brought people in with familiarity. And then once I did that, then I can branch off and start showing them different things that I've created and what I've done. You know what I mean? What the characters fresh out of my brain would do. Then as far as the Croft situation, so I think it's partially my fault, but at the end it's kind of stupid. So the issue was with a licensing of a song. I did the licensing, I paid for the license, and I put it in there. But then apparently they said that the company said that it was the wrong license. And I was like, okay, well, what's the right license? And they sent me the right license, and the price was ridiculous. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna pay that. This is I don't know what I'm gonna make up of this. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna pay for that. So I'm like, all right, I'm not doing that. So what happens with YouTube is they can, if a copyright owner of a song, they can either ask for it to be taken down, or they can ask for they'll make the revenue off of it.
Really?
Yes. So like if you're creating content, you upload something with someone's song, they say, hey, this song has copyrighted material, blah blah blah, will be monetized for it. So I saw that and I'm like, hell no.
Yeah,
so
that happened to me.
Yeah, see, so I just turned off monetization completely, because honestly, I paid for the license. They said it was the wrong license. They seen what I was doing with it, then they wanted to like charge me out of the ass. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And there is no reason that I put in all this work, and because you have 3 seconds of a song in my video, you get to monetize everything. So I turned it off. Okay. And yeah, so that's when, and I don't know if
does glitter fall from the ceiling when you hit 1 million? Do they send you like, do you get like an email?
People don't understand. So here's
you're not rich. I know you got 1 billion.
No way. Listen, people don't understand. This is my thing with YouTube, right? So a lot of, and this is, it all streams into, I know what's going to come in our later conversations, but what happens with YouTube is you can make money off of YouTube, but here's the thing. The people who are the biggest YouTubers and make the most money off of things, if you watch the kind of content they produce, it's quick and dirty content, but they have a fan base that they cater to. So for example, like YouTube creator that I like is RDC World. I don't know if you ever seen those guys, but basically they do like anime parodies. They'll do things like imitating like LeBron in the locker room and all this kind of stuff. Hilarious, but it's like stuff that you can literally do in like 1 hour. You know what I mean? And they do it continuously. So when you do it continuously and you're like putting up 3, 4, 5 videos a day that's getting millions of views, oh yeah, you're gonna make some money.
Gotcha.
But if you're putting up one video that makes 1 million views over time, that's not gonna get you money like you think it will. You know what I mean? Unless you just go crazy and you get like 40 million views off of one video in a week or something like that. But if you have that opportunity to be able to create that kind of content consistently and be putting out content every day, and every day that content is hitting 1 million, then you can make some money off of it. And also that opens up the doors for advertising and sponsorships and those product placements and things like that. And that's where you make your real money. So YouTube will pay you, but you make your real money off of brand deals.
Got you. So I guess this kind of going into more the streaming lane now. So now that we know that you're not going to make a ton of money unless you are really, really putting out fast content, you have a fan base already, you're bringing in the revenue as a filmmaker, especially a small filmmaker or an African-American filmmaker, because it's unfortunate that if you have all African-American characters, you're now a genre. You're like, it's a separate lane. Like, it's not a film. If you have a film with all white people in it, it's just a movie.
It's a movie.
Right. It's just a movie. But if you have all black people now, it's a certain type of film. Like, oh, this is not for everybody. This isn't made for mainstream. So I guess this is where you come in. So why now? Like, we have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have Amazon, we have all of these platforms where you can put your content on there. What makes your streaming service, Redgrade TV, stand out, and why is it necessary now?
So I think the difference between, well, let me take you back to the start of it. I had this idea literally 5 years ago to do Redgrade.tv. So I've been building and toying with this and trying to figure out how to make it work, and always thinking that, I needed $1 billion to make it work. So long story short, I had backburnered it and I was just doing work, just building money and stacking, doing that kind of stuff. Then comes along a service with my exact idea, which is no longer here anymore, which is Quibi. And basically my Redgrade was what Quibi was. And then I seen this guy, he raised, $1.7 billion to do it and all this good stuff. And then it failed, right? $1.7 billion, it failed. Yeah. It's gone in 6 months, right? Like, that's a lot of money to blow. So my thing was, when it came out, I saw it and I saw an opportunity. They really just kind of threw money at people like, hey, this is money. This is Kevin Hart. This is blah, blah, blah. This is blah, blah, blah. And no one really connected with the content. No one really connected with what was there. So I felt like they tried to come into a space where, not saying they didn't belong, but a space that's occupied by us. And it's like, okay, Hollywood, you guys go, you have movies, you have all this, like, this is what we as creators have. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I felt at this time, especially with the quarantine and all that, just it's time for us, to the creators, to be able to have a platform that we can, it's not washed with just like all celebrity and all big time names and all that kind of stuff, but we're telling great stories. You know what I mean? It's new faces. A lot of times you'll see things, you're like, oh, he's in this again, she's in that again. Oh, this is that you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same person, it's the same people, and you're not seeing anything new because they're not letting new people in. And if they do let you in, they want to take everything from you. Right.
Well, I mean, as an African American, it's only one of us that, unfortunately, in Hollywood, that can succeed at a time.
That's true. Yes, and that's very true. And another thing, I mean, even with that, another thing is I listened to an interview with Lena Waithe before, and when the situation happened on her set with the guy and the sexual harassment deal and all that, and she said something like, "I am an employee, I don't own this." And I was like, wow.
Was it on Breakfast Club? I think
it was the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Yeah. And she said
I remember watching
that. I was like, wow, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And then you think about Dave Chappelle and how his stuff, he says all his stuff is on Netflix and blah, 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 and he ain't getting a dime. You know what I mean? And then you think about Nick Cannon creating Wild 'N Out, and then just all of a sudden, he doesn't have Wild 'N Out anymore. Like, I don't know that without Nick Cannon, you know what I'm saying? And he has he doesn't have it. So that's why I think like the time is now for this. And I think the business model that I have with the creators that I'm working with is something way different, because I'm not in it to try and take anyone's project. Like, I want to make good original projects. And I've taken years to build all my gear and everything that I have to have a self-sustained, fully functional, basically movie studio. Like, I can get everything out to do anything that I need at this point. So that's why I feel like the time is now for this, and I have a different perspective on how to push out content.
So is it, if you were explaining to someone who has not seen it yet, what is it? Would you say it's more along the lines of a Netflix, or is it more along the lines of like a Vice type of, where this is content on a channel, it's just not on your television?
Yeah, so the goal is it is content on a channel, and it at some point will be on the television. It just takes a little more money than I expected to make an app. Right? So it takes a bit of money to make that app, and that Apple TV app, and that Android OS app. So it takes a little bit of time. So as it builds, it will get better. And it's just like ground stages. So I do think it's equivalent to a Netflix in theory, when you talk about it, right? So there are shows, there'll be series, and there'll be different kinds of content that you can go through and search. So right now it's just in building, and every month there's going to be new content uploaded like continuously. So people,
are these all the shows? Because I watched it. I want to put this out there. This, and I mean this with all due respect. I signed up for it. My expectations were very low, because when you see people who say, "Hey, I'm gonna make a film," you say, "All right, I seen a couple. We seen it." I was thoroughly impressed. When I saw the quality of what you actually created, and I want everybody listening to know, like, this looks like something you would see on television. Like, you could see it on a HBO, you could see it on a Netflix. It has that high quality, and it seems like you produce mostly, because I know Noodles, you are a producer on Noodles. And then you also produced or had some levels of interaction or involvement with the other shows, like because of the internet and stuff. Will you touch everything that comes on your platform, or is this open to anyone? Well, not anyone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. The goal is for me. I don't feel like I have to touch everything that is there. But in the beginning, when you're building something, it takes a lot of sweat equity, right? So if, let's just say you came to me with a story, like, I got the story about this and blah, 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 I like it. I'm like, oh man, that's dope. I do like that story. What is this? How do we do this? What do you think about this? And we start politicking back and forth. Then you and I come up with an agreement, and we're like, okay, we're going to create this show. I will, get all the production done for you, and we're going to just make it. So now at that point, you and I have made, the lease show, whatever it may be. We put it out, and we put it out on Redgrade exclusively. It does its rounds there. But while we're doing that, now you and I can look at it and say, hey, we have this content. Where else can it grow some legs? Now we can say, hey, Amazon, we got stuff that's already done. It looks great. Give us money. You can lease it for 2 years. You can license it for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hey, Hulu, we got all this stuff. It looks great. You can license it for 2 years or whatever it may be. And then you can just start spreading that money around because we own it, right?
Okay.
And like another one of the problems that I saw, like when I was just looking up Quibi, because I just had to know like everything about this and why it did this and what happened there. They don't own their content. So even when they were going down, he couldn't sell it because everything was licensed.
I know that. I did not know that. Okay.
So I mean, I went down a rabbit hole, man. I had to figure it out. So so I don't feel like, I think at some point I have to get to a point where I'm not touching everything. But right now in the building stages, I do have to curate a look, curate a customer experience, and all of that kind of stuff. Just
you gotta have standards. I got you. You don't want anything on your platform because it's your name on it, and if it's trash, especially when you start off, people are like, "Oh, this is trash."
Exactly.
And I got that. But I want to ask you before I let you go. You produce content and Noodles, like the series. I watched it. I commented on it because, like I said, I was thoroughly impressed by what you guys have done story wise, and then from a production side of it. What's because I think Dot, is it McDonald? Is that who wrote it? Okay, can you explain the story? Because I know this is one of the shows on there that I want you guys, if you've not had a chance to download, please go download the app so that you can watch it. Explain the show a little bit for people. Don't give it away 100%, but set the tone, because this is an interesting show.
Yeah, I will set the tone for you. So Dot McDonald, she is a creator who is also from Milwaukee that I met when I was in California. So mutual friends were like pushing us together to finally meet.
Did y'all leave? Y'all just took a plane together so we all
we all chasing dreams. But so I met up with her, and we started talking about things we could do, and she had this idea, and her original script that she wanted to do was a short. It was about 10 pages, and like I said, when I was giving my example to you, I said, hey, we can really make something out of this. So her and I both sat down and we really fleshed out a story to make it a series. And then we got this pilot shot. So basically, Noodles is a good girl gone bad kind of story. Jessica is a college student. She has a drug dealer boyfriend who gets locked up, and now he needs her to help him out with the business. She has no idea what she's getting herself into, and then it just all goes downhill from there. Definitely a really good story to watch. We have a ton of twists and turns that's coming through this episode and through the series. The story is called Noodles because the first episode that you see, which is called Rule Number 1, is never use your real name. So she comes up with the name Noodles when she gets her first call, and she was eating a cup of noodles. And
it's kind of funny too. The show has some humor in it. It's I feel like you have a little bit of are you a dark humor type of person?
I am. I'll make some dark humor in there. Yes, you caught it.
I was like, yeah, this is funny.
In there.
You got to do that next. Good. You got to do that next. You got to get a sitcom. We got to get a sitcom. We got to get a comedy. Maybe
it is coming. We do have some stuff coming. As you see, Lil JJ is in there. Jay Lewis. I don't know if he goes by Lil JJ anymore, but he's a funny guy on Wild 'N Out. So he's a good homie of mine. So just stay tuned. We got some good funny stuff coming as well.
Okay. See, we got some additional info, so you get new content. I was going to ask you that if you could tell the people how much it was. You say it's $4.99. How can they get to it? So if they've never heard of Redgrade TV, how can they sign up? How can they get to it? How can they find you? So
the name is the website. The name is redgrade.tv. That's the website. So anytime you want to go there, redgrade.tv. It's redgrade.tv on Instagram, Redgrade TV on Twitter. I got kicked off of Instagram, so I need to make a new one. I don't know what happened. Did you? Like, they just completely removed me from Instagram.
Were you trolling? You was harassing?
I got hacked. And I think when I got hacked, it thought I was trying to use a bot to get more likes and subscribers and followers.
Okay.
And then they put me in Instagram jail for a week. And then when I got out of Instagram jail, I went and I started unfollowing everything that the hack.
Okay. It's okay. We know it was the booty pics that you put on there. We got you. We know that's like you got kicked off of Instagram.
I was in OnlyFans training, so maybe Instagram didn't like that.
Yeah, that's probably I can see that. But thank you so much for coming on to Millennials Anonymous podcast. Make sure you go to redgrade.tv so that you can sign up for the subscription. If you have a show idea, reach out to him on Facebook, because them booty pics got him kicked off of Instagram, so you got to go there, or the website. I think you can also contact them through the website. Yeah. So make sure you do that. Make sure you reach out to him. He's absolutely awesome. The content is amazing. He's working with some amazing people of color and women. So make sure you support. I know that I will. You going places. So I'm glad I got a chance to meet you before you blow up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. All right. This has been another episode of Millennials Anonymous podcast. Yes, I want to thank Mr. Champ Robison, which is one of the best goddamn names ever. I'd be like, yeah, my name is Champ. Who are you? I'm the Champ. Like, it's just a great goddamn name, by the way. But I want to give Brandon Champ Robison a big round of applause for being here. Make sure you go and subscribe and download. Get you your 14 days. Get you your even like he said, even if you don't keep it, go download it. Get you your 14-day free trial. Subscribe to it. See, it's like, go peep it out. See what the shows are about. See what the app is about. When I tell you, I was thoroughly impressed. You know me, I'm a fucking pessimist and a realist. Like, I'm not gonna fuck with you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat you. The shows that they have coming on here are definitely done well. You know that he takes his time, his crew takes their time. Like, this is not something that's just rushed. Like, this is not my editing job. You know me, how I be chopping and be like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I be chopping in a motherfucker. Like, no. Like, this is like some real deal stuff. So make sure you go and you support. I know a lot of y'all always say that you want to support Black owned, or you always want to support, minority owned. Make sure you do that. This is something that I think will change the game. I think he's really, really on to something amazing work. So make sure you do that and follow him on all major social media platforms, and also Redgrade TV on all major social media platforms as well. So if you didn't learn anything, you wasn't listening. So go back and listen to it again. And next week we will have Miss Sharon, because I keep saying, but we're gonna have her. Maybe I'm not gonna say that. Okay, we're gonna have a guest next week. Okay, we're gonna have a guest next week. Make sure you tune into that, because we're gonna have a really, really good time. Because this will be a fast one because of the holidays. Well, that's a good question. I don't know. Let me stop. Let me stop. We may have an episode next week. I don't know. It depends on how I feel. If I feel good enough, we'll have an episode next week. If I don't, we won't have an episode next week, but we will have one the following week. Okay. So shout out to all of the people who listen, tune in, rock with us, roll with us. We appreciate you. We will continue to listen to you, and we will continue to bring you great content. Also, shout out to WRDR for rocking with us. Shout out to WPIR 98.4 FM for rocking and rolling with us. We will be back again next week. So stay safe. Have a fantastic holiday. Be safe. Stay your asses in the house. Okay? Stay your asses in the house and be safe. We'll be back again. Peace.